and welcome to my kitchen. Today I am going to be making a coffee cake. It's a cool fall day, not afternoon yet. My father-in-law's here working again, and he loves his afternoon coffee, so I thought I would make a coffee cake to go with it. So let's get started. I had my son chop up a cup of pecans, so I'm just gonna put them in this bowl. Now I need, it says a teaspoon of cinnamon, so I'm just gonna, if you want to measure it, you can. I'm not going to. And I need 1/4 cup of sugar. And you just want to mix this all together. So now that I've got the topping mixed together, I'm going to set that to the side, and we are going to move on to the cake. Now this cake, I've had this recipe for over 20 years. When I got married, the ladies in church wrote down recipe cards for me. So I have a ton of recipes, and I love to collect recipes. I've got recipes from my mother, my grandmother, my mother-in-law, my grandmother-in-law, just friends and family, people from church. I love to collect recipes. So I have a stack. It's probably about like this of just recipes. And this one is a tried and true recipe, and I've been using it for 20 years. So if you have people in your life that like to pass down recipes, grab them. Hold on, try them. See if there's any changes you want to make to them. Recipes are meant to be shared, and that's why I make these videos. But let's get started on the cake part. So I will need flour, 1 3/4 cups. I need you to go finish your school, please. And I need 3/4 of a cup here. Okay. Teaspoon of baking powder. Okay, I've got, you want your butter soft, room temperature soft. 2 eggs. Oh, I do need to get milk out of the freezer. Okay, I've got to get milk out of the fridge. But I need, okay, a pinch of salt. That's what I was looking for. I only need 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I'm just going to give this a light little mix together. And now I am going to get my wet ingredients going. All right, I'm going to move these dry ingredients out of the way so I can get started on my wet ingredients. I can't see what I'm doing this morning here. I need a cup of sugar. Go ahead and get that. Let me see, was it a cup? Yes, 1 cup of sugar. Always have to double check between the sugar and the milk. We need 2 eggs, room temperature. My hands have kind of getting over that summer slump, so I'm getting plenty of eggs again. Rinse that off of my fingers real quick. Got some egg on there. All right. And I've got, now this is very soft butter. It doesn't quite need to be melted, but it needs to be very, very soft. Let me see here. I'm just going to take a butter knife and chunk it up a little bit. Put it in here. Now, if you want to use other nuts other than pecans, you can. You know, almonds are always good in it. Or if you like pistachio, whatever kind of nut you like. Not everyone likes the same thing. in this butter. And here, see how soft this is? This is just nice and soft butter. Okay. And then I need 3/4 cup of milk. Okay. 3/4. And a splash of vanilla. Calls for a teaspoon, but I say measure with your heart. If it makes you happy, then that's the right amount. You can never have too much vanilla. You just kind of want to whisk these ingredients together here. Okay, now that I've got my wet ingredients mixed up, you can still see the butter. It's in very little pieces. Like, I don't know if you can, but when you mix that in with the cake, those little tiny bits of butter will just spread out and melt into the cake batter, and it makes it so yummy. I don't normally melt my butter for this recipe. I do it this way just because we like those little pops of butter through the cake batter. Okay, now I'm going to take my wet ingredients and mix with my dry ingredients just a little at a time. Make sure you scrape everything out. Okay, my batter is coming together nicely. Now, if you want to do this with a hand mixer or in your stand mixer, you can. I'm just doing it by hand. Okay, now if you look at this batter, you can see those little bits of butter in there. And as it bakes, those will melt and make little delicious pockets of butter. You don't want them to be big. Make sure your butter chunks are not big at all. Okay, got that all together nicely. I need to make some room here, and then I will start assembling my cake. Now that I got my space cleared off, I have a 9 by 13 baking pan that I have lined with parchment paper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that pecan cinnamon sugar mix. I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit in the bottom of my cake pan.
Can I sprinkle some in?
Can you go finish your school first? I told you, you got to get your school done. So we're just going to put a little bit in there because we are going to layer this through our cake. Now I'm going to take some of that batter. Let me grab my scoop over here and just start scooping a little bit of that batter in. We want to lightly spread it out over top of the pecan mix. Now, if you have an offset spatula, it can come in really handy right about now. Just going to gently spread this out. You don't really want to mix it all together. You kind of want those little layers in there. Now that we've got our layers in here, we are going to get this cake in the oven. I've got my oven preheated to 350, and we will bake this between 20 to 25 minutes. Here, let me see if I can show this to you real quick without dropping it out of the pan. And then when it comes out of the oven, I'll let it cool, and we'll make a simple glaze to put over the top of it. So let me get this in the oven real quick. My oven runs a little hot, so I'm going to start at 18 minutes and we'll go from there. Okay, my timer just went off. Let's check the cake.
Sure does look yummy.
All right, let me grab a toothpick here.
Can I lick it?
Perfect. There's nothing to lick off. I am going to let this cool, and then we will come back, turn it out of the cake pan, and put a simple glaze on top of it. I have lost the volume for the rest of my video, so I will try and just walk you through what I'm doing. Here I have my cake container, and I'm just lining it with parchment paper. And if you crumple your parchment paper up before you use it, then it stays in place a lot better. And then I'm just going to turn my cake out onto the parchment paper. And it took me a few minutes to decide how I was going to turn this out without making a mess. Forgive me, I had a lot going on today and my brain was not working very well. And after I get the cake turned out and placed on the parchment paper, I'm going to make a simple syrup. I'm peeling the parchment paper off of the cake that I had lined the cake pan with, and I'm just looking at the cake and getting ready to make my simple glaze. The glaze is made from a couple of tablespoons of powdered sugar, a splash of vanilla, and a splash of milk. I just mix that together really well and drizzled that over the cake. The vanilla I used today was a dark vanilla, so it gave the glaze a cream color instead of staying white. Thank you for joining me today, and as always, happy baking!